Hey Spartans, we know that with exams quickly approaching, the pressure is on. And this episode of Spartan TV, we want to help ease the stress by giving you a few of our best study tips. Along with some tried and true methods, we're also going to be talking to some of our students about their studying techniques. One of our personal tips, and potentially the most important, is to find an environment that works for you. 4 elements that are widely recommended for safety: quiet or white noise, organization, and scheduled time and place. If these qualities are not available in your home, our school scenario is one of many places where the perfect study environment is created.
My name is Miss White, and I teach grade 9, 11, and 12 math. The best advice I would give to students studying for math is that to study for math, you should do math. So don't just look over your tests and your quizzes. You should go back through and actually redo the questions. So I think the perfect studying environment for students can be 2 different things. If you're by yourself, I feel like, for me personally, I don't like to listen to music because I can't focus when I do that. So go off in a quiet place, set your phone aside, turn your devices off so that you can be all in focused. Another good study environment actually is to have a study group. So if you can find a good study group or study buddy to ask each other questions or just do some review, I think that's a good strategy. I think that students should go through their notebook and take out any assignments, quizzes, unit tests, and sort them by chapter and create a schedule for yourself for the week for all of the courses that you have exams in, so that you have a timeline every day. So you know from this time to this time you're going to work on maybe chapter 1 of math, and maybe in the next half hour you're going to work on chapter 2 of science. Make sure that you build in breaks for yourself, build in some snack times for yourself, and build in some times maybe to go outside and get some fresh air. What is my advice to mentally prepare for exams and to keep their mental health good? Again, I think that students should prepare in advance. So be organized with your studying. Make sure that you build a schedule. I feel like good organization helps to set you up for success. And, if you typically exercise, then make sure that you still get out and do some exercising so that you can maintain that positive energy during study time. Again, have some good snacks, maybe buy some special snacks for studying, and take time to take some breaks too.
I am Mr. Cunningham. I teach English, grade 9, grade 11, and media studies. Best advice for students studying English and arts. One, I guess, don't procrastinate. Don't wait till the last minute. And again, find a space that works for you, a space you're comfortable. Find a space without distraction. And if you need to put on some music or headphones, something like that, to kind of drown out some distraction, something like that. So yeah, find a space where you can eliminate distraction, where you can concentrate. To get organized, to be prepared for exams, you would probably go through your notes, check your binder, see if maybe there's a review that the teacher might have given you. So, and then maybe important handouts that the teacher went over quite a bit with, and you might have it highlighted with, might have used a highlighter quite a bit, something like that. So yeah, go through your notes, and you could go through your quizzes, your tests, that type of idea, so you know what the teacher thinks important, so you can focus on that. I would say you need to have a way to decompress, a way to get away from studying, to get away from the stress of school. So whether it is video games, whether it's going for a walk, whether it's going out with friends, but you need to work hard, but you also need to have recovery time. So have something that's going to build your energy back up so you can take that energy and focus it back in on your studies.
My go-to study tips are generally to not cram everything in at once, to take things at a time, little bite-sized pieces for studying. I personally like to get myself outside of my comfort zone to learn. It's one of those things where in order to learn, you have to not be comfortable. It's one of those things where it's better to be at a fast room than somewhere you're like on a couch or something like that. It's just for me personally, it's just a better learning environment. A lot of it's just listening to music, making sure beforehand I'm psyched up for it. It's one of those things where you gotta play the mental game.
My name is Kayla Hans, and I am in grade 12. My go-to study tip is to start early. Don't put off studying for tests until last second. I usually like to do cue cards or a study guide as well, that is helpful. For sure. So for me to get the best time out of my learning is to be in a quiet space. So I like to go somewheres where it's quiet. Sometimes I'll listen to music as well, but if I'm able to do my best, it's like when I'm able to zone out on my own. So what I like to do to maintain balance is to kind of like take breaks throughout the day when I'm studying. So when I go home from school, I'll do some of my exam review for an hour or two. Then I'll take a break and maybe watch a show that I like or read a chapter of my book and then go back. I kind of have like a happy medium so I don't get frustrated in the middle of it, and it helps me to do my best and work as efficiently as I can. My name is Ainsley and I'm grade 11. I always make cue cards, and I always suggest looking over your material right before a test, and don't leave it all the last minute. So compare and make sure you have lots of time to study it buffet. I find that for me, I like to listen to music, but for other people, that can be distracting. So maybe light a candle, or if you prefer doing it like in a darker environment with maybe just a little bit less light, you just sort of have to like experiment and see what works best for you. I think it's important to take a break. It might not seem like it, but even if it's 30 minutes to watch a show on Netflix or do something else to take your mind off exams, you'll feel a lot more prepared, and you have a lot more motivation to get stuff done.
Some of the memorization techniques known to work the best for tests and exams are the mapping mind, assigning meaning in stories, and the chunking method. The last method is best used for big tests such as exams. It recommends learning the general first and then filling in the blanks. After everything we learned from our peers and teachers, there are many tips that can help us calm the nerves we face with upcoming exams. One of the most helpful tips we can give is to remain calm in practice. People retain 90% of what they study if they immediately put it into use. So keep studying, and remember, there's lots of people in the school who are just as nervous as you.
Fitness is essential for mental and physical health. We know this fact. What we may not know is that research shows people who exercise have on average 40% fewer poor mental health days per month. In the new year, many of us plan to begin a workout schedule or go to the gym. Sadly, most of these plans are short-lived, and people lose motivation to be more successful in their fitness, improving their fitness. Mostly this is due to people not knowing how to work out properly. In order to ensure success and reach our fitness goals, it is important to understand the basics of exercise, such as proper form and technique, as well as the importance of rest and recovery. This knowledge can help us create an effective workout plan that will last longer than a week post-New Year. Over the next few minutes, you will learn how to properly lift and how to diversify your workouts. First, we will visit the weight room and learn how to properly lift and build muscle. Lifting is important to maintain your strength and fitness, but not everyone loves weights, and it's important to mix up your routine with activities such as Pilates, aerobics, and yoga to ensure you get a diverse workout.
Hi, my name is William Ruddick, and
I'm Austin Dow, and today I'm going to be showing you the bench press. And basically what you want to do when starting off for the bench press is you want to set your appropriate weight. So when you're doing the bench press, you're going to push straight up on the bar, hover right above your chest, and you'll come down very slowly, then back up again, and basically repeat the cycle until you can't really get any more. And you want to do about 3 to 5 sets, I'd say.
so the next one for a common leg exercise is squats. So when you're going to do squats, you're going to want to select your appropriate weight. I have 135 on the bar right now, and I will show you what to do next. So when you start your squats, you're going to want to lift your back underneath, put your arms to the sides, and then you're going to want to lift up and space your legs out. You want to lift down, make sure your knees are right above your feet. You want to keep your feet. The next exercise is for your triceps. The most common exercise for your triceps is the cable extension. And here I'll show you what to do. The cable extension for your triceps, you're going to want to select your appropriate weight. I have 100 pounds on there right now. You're going to step right close up to it, one step back, lean over it, and then have yourself at like a 90-degree angle for your elbows, and you want to pull down. Do about 3 sets of these, about 12 repetitions.
So the next exercise I'm going to be showing you is called shoulder shrugs, and it mainly focuses on your traps and then your shoulders. So once again, you want to select the appropriate weight. All right, so you want to lift up on your shoulders, pull them back, and then go back down again. And you want to repeat this, I'd say about maybe 10 times. So now I'm going to be doing the bicep curl. And basically, you just select your appropriate weight. You want your arms straight down. And then you come up to a 90-degree angle and just repeat until you can't go.
And the next exercise we'll be doing is shoulder press. You'll be grabbing dumbbells and you'll be sitting down and you will be pressing up. When you're done selecting your appropriate weight, you are going to want to lift up and then simply just press it up. The next exercise we'll be doing is deadlift. When you're done selecting your appropriate weight, you're going to want to be shoulder width apart from the bar, and then you're going to want to lift your knees down a little bit, and then down a little bit, and then you're going to want to lift up.
Now we're going to be doing the weighted calf raises. So when you do this, you want to grab 2 dumbbells, put them at your side, and just slightly stand up on your tippy toes, and repeat this until you start to feel a burn in your calves. Step back up into your starting position, and repeat the cycle.
Last exercise is for your back, your lats. When you're doing your lats, you're going to want to select your appropriate weight. I have 150 pounds on the thing. And then you're going to grab up, sit as close as you can, and then just pull down. Make sure to lean back with it, because if not, you're not going to feel the burn.
So I'm going to talk to you about gym etiquette. So for one, after you're done using all the equipment, you should always wipe it up, because otherwise people are just going to be sitting in your sweat and that's dirty. Let's see.
Next thing you're going to want is sweatpants, shorts, t-shirt or a muscle talk. And then you're going to want earbuds, and if you want protein shakes, or just bring a thing of water. And
now what to expect at the gym. There's probably going to be a lot of people. There may not be. But just don't be scared, honestly. It's not that bad once you start doing it.
And the local areas in St. Stephen would be the Garrison Civic Center, Infinity Fitness, or known as the Elite Strength Academy. And if you're into calisthenics and CrossFit, it would be in Bernie's Body Blast.
Next, you should probably set up a gym plan and like an eating plan, all that stuff. It's good to, get your body in shape, physically, as well as your mental health and all that other stuff, and that helps a lot too. Next, you need to find something that's going to get you motivated to go to the gym every day and to not drop it, because say maybe bring a friend or listen to some music that really inspires you, or maybe watch some YouTube videos when you're at home, people working out and different exercises that you could do, because that always helps.
I get around 6 hours of sleep every night.
I usually get around 6 hours of sleep.
Sometimes like 3 hours of sleep, sometimes like 7.5.
I would say I get about 4 hours of sleep every night.
Every night I get 4 or 5 hours of sleep if I'm lucky.
What do an increased risk of depression, heart attack, and stroke all have in common? A lack of sleep. During human development, between the ages of 14 to 18, sleep is vitally important. It's a huge part of how humans develop. The Canadian Department of Education says that teens 13 through 18 need about 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night. So it's deeply regretful that most Canadian teens only get about 6 hours of sleep a night. Let's take a look into why these students sleep less than they should, their sleep habits, and how more sleep can increase your productivity and overall better your health.
Hi, my name is Sarah Burbine. I tend to go to bed around the same time every night and wake up at the same time as well. Most distractions that keep me up are loud noises from downstairs or bright lights shining into my room.
My sleeping habits are that I go to bed around 12 or I go to bed around 11:30. I drink things with caffeine in it. Some distractions that keep me from sleeping are my phone and homework. It is when I go to bed really, really late, sleeping gets easy for me, but if I'm not tired enough, then it is not easy.
There are, however, a few students that have quite irregular sleep schedules. We asked them about their sleep schedules and how it affects their home life and their school life.
My sleeping habits are not that healthy. Sometimes I'll go to bed at 1 in the morning, sometimes I'll go to bed at 3, and sometimes if I'm really tired, I'll go to bed at like 10 or something. Sleeping's easy for me if I'm really tired some nights, but other nights it's not that easy because like my mind won't stop running a million miles an hour, and it distracts me from trying to fall asleep because I think of all these other things that I could be doing. I have an irregular sleep schedule because there's personal things that I'm dealing with, there's homework, and there's extracurriculars as well that sort of keep me awake and keep me from sleeping because I have to do those. My sleep schedule impacts my everyday life because I end up feeling the need to fall asleep in things that I really shouldn't fall asleep in, like chemistry, and also because I'm exhausted at night, like after school or something, it keeps me from doing my homework because I don't have the energy to do anything once I get home. I don't really. It's just kind of there. I'm always tired, but sometimes I have to force myself to stay awake. Like if I'm in class and I'm really tired, I just have to stay awake. Well, I personally am not balancing them very well, so I don't think I'm really in a place to give anyone advice on that.
Sometimes I go to bed at 10:30, sometimes I'm up till 2 in the morning. I sleep wherever, whenever. Majority of the time sleeping is easy because like I can just put my head on the pillow and go to bed, but sometimes I am staring at the ceiling for like half an hour. Well, sometimes I can go to school tired and then like people are like, "What's wrong? Are you all right?" And it can affect like me to get sidetracked a lot during school.
Some of our students are heavily involved in different extracurricular activities, be they sports, musical productions, or student resources. They are essential. Sleep is important to how these members function within their groups. Let's take a look at some of their sleeping habits.
I am involved in basketball and karate for extracurricular activities. They affect it a lot. I don't get home till late, so like for karate I get home at 9 or 9:30, and then for basketball it depends, so I get to bed really, really late when I have those. If you're struggling to balance school and sleep, I would say try to prioritize, like go to bed instead of staying up so late to do your homework. Try to find ways around that.
With deadlines fast approaching, scholarship applications are on the minds of many students. This matters not only to our grade 12 students, but for everyone. A good application needs substance, something you can start collecting long before your final year of school. Some students might feel unprepared for their application, and understanding the process as early as possible gives you an upper hand. Let's see what insight Ms. Amos can give into the scholarship application process.
So the qualities that they're looking for are students who have been engaged in their learning. That means that they exhibit that they have had a great work ethic while at school. Students who have worked hard. It's students who have shown a balance at school, that they're able to handle academics plus extracurricular activities or volunteer work or having a part-time job. And they're looking for students who are showing a genuine interest in pursuing education at a higher level after high school. In grade 9 and 10, obviously students are hearing things on the announcements for our grade 12s heading off to post-secondary. I think it's really important to listen to some of what those scholarship announcements might be. It would be important for 9s and 10s to be asking questions around some of those things. To make your application stand out, the first piece of advice I have really is to follow the directions of the donors. The donors don't put those requirements in there to be ignored. They want them covered. The other thing is obviously you want it to be neat and tidy. You don't want it crumpled, you don't want it wrinkled, you want it to look very fresh, very new. To really pay attention to what the criteria asks for and address all of those pieces in your application is most important. St. Stephen High School, every year it amazes me the total dollar value of scholarships that our students receive.
Now that we've heard from our principal, it's time to speak with someone who helps students learn about and apply to scholarships personally. Ms. Waycock guides many students through applying every year.
So essentially, any student in grade 12 can apply for any of the local scholarships that we have offered at SSHS. Students can go to our local scholarship Weebly website and they can look at the ones. There's about 50 and we have some new ones this year, so there's a lot that the students can apply for. There is a lot of misconception that students think they have to have the highest academics to be eligible for these scholarships. However, that is not the case. Donors love when students have volunteer work within the community or within their school, and it doesn't necessarily have to be sports. It's involved in extracurriculars, clubs, peer tutoring, anything like that. So there are two kind of different types of scholarships. There's local, which are within house here in St. Stephen High, and then there's regional. So starting in September, after course changes have been all made, I meet with each grade 12 student, and in that interview, I show them how to access the regional scholarship website as well as the Weebly website. So local scholarships are more important because it shows the donors that there are a need, and the donors are all local organizations or local people. It shows the donors that there is a need and that our students are going off to big post-secondary institutions, whether it be university or college, and it's just as important as the big scholarships. Every little bit helps, so you don't need to get a $10,000 scholarship from a university for it to not be equally as important as a small scholarship, because if you get 3 or 4 $500 scholarships or 3 or 4 $250 scholarships, it all adds up.
Our younger students can seek out Ms. Waycott for advice, but we also have someone to help out the adults in the community. People of all ages need advice, and education does not have an age range. Mr. McKnight advises adults on scholarships and education paths, just as Ms. Waycott does with our grades 9 to 12s.
Students face a number of challenges when they are applying for scholarships, but the biggest challenge that I find is that they're not aware of what resources are out there. And I would start with looking at different places you can go to get scholarships. And if you apply to university and it says, we're considering you for entrance scholarships, that's not the only scholarships out there. Go on that school's page and see what other ones there are to apply for. There's also a number of resources, scholartree.ca, www.careersthatwork.ca. Those two sites are great for finding scholarships. And My Blueprint, which students work with, make sure that you're aware of all the different things they might ask you for. So they might ask you for reference letters. Make sure you go and ask teachers, employers from part-time and summer jobs, maybe coaches of a team, and say, would you be willing to write me a one-page reference letter? Have them ready to go and don't be late.
Your guidance counselor is a major asset to planning your post-secondary life. At St. Stephen High School, there are countless other teachers who help students plan ahead and show them the ropes when it comes to applying. Teachers can give helpful advice and provide references, so you shouldn't hesitate to ask. And one of those teachers is Mr. Legg.
Researching the scholarships is really important because understanding who is offering the scholarship and why goes a long way to helping you in your scholarship writing. I think a lot of students take it for granted, or they assume that they aren't going to get it. There's just so many other people, and even if others do get it, there's no harm, besides one would define as lost time, but the research into scholarship writing is really reflective, so it's time well added. If you do get into that college or institution program, maybe it's not on the full scholarship, but maybe you're going to have a better appreciation for the program itself and the work that you put in, so you won't take that opportunity for granted. The qualities that scholarship people look for, I feel, that it's more about your leadership and your legacy, how you're giving back, and giving back short term, so with a leadership project for your school or community, but then also legacy. Is there something that when you are off at that institution, is your community still benefiting from the inroads or the things that you helped create or implement within your areas? So there's something for everyone. You just got to be willing to make those first steps. It's not a secret formula. You got to put in the time and find things that bring passion to you.
Obviously, the help and guidance is important, but what challenges have our own students been strained with while writing, and how were they overcome?
Well, I wish I had known that, you're not guaranteed to get accepted for a scholarship in university. A fear I do have is applying for a big one that can really help me out and just not hearing back about it. I do think that scholarships are a huge benefit to have, especially regarding prices of student loans and regarding how they have an interest rate.
To prepare for scholarship applications, I've done a lot of extracurricular activities like volunteer work, which is really good for scholarships, and just looking for opportunities everywhere I can find it. So I've done personal interest to build my skill set, and I've found a lot of opportunities. For example, right now, I'm actually coding a tool for the Department of Fisheries and Oceans here in New Brunswick.
I think scholarships are important because for people who are not able to get the money, or if they're living in a lower income family, they're useful for getting them to able to have that education or go to a university they want to be at. Go to school, kids. All right, see ya.
Now that we've learned more about scholarships, hopefully you feel more confident about applications and know what to do to prepare for them. We urge all eligible students to apply for scholarships. If you have any questions about scholarships, be sure to talk to one of your teachers or Miss Waycott in the guidance office. Good luck on your application, Spartans.
So with that, Spartans, the new year is looking bright for our community. Exams are coming in and it is the season to study. Many students are submitting their scholarship applications for the first time, and we wish everyone luck in the new semester. We'll see you next month to cover topics such as swimming and our MLA, Kathy Bacchus. Don't forget to study and remember your wellness tips.